Hello and welcome to our second episode of Talk It How It Is. I'm your host Ashley.
I'm your host Natalie.
The aim of our podcast is to have real life discussion, non-filtered, where we talk about anything and everything. Our aim is to learn, teach and educate while keeping it real and being open and honest.
I would like to say thank you to everyone that listened to our first episode on Talk It How It Is, which is available on Spotify, Anchor and Radio Public. Thank you for all the feedback. Much appreciated. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. So this week's episode, dating in the 21st century.
Don't you want to know how I am?
Not really. You're here, innit?
You're
alive.
Hi. You might want to know how I am. I'm good, thank you. It's been a really good week. The weather has been good. It's made me feel good. I hope it's made you all feel good.
Ashley sips wine. It's been a good week. It
has been a good week. We can't even lie about that. So, today's first episode is about dating in the 21st century.
Yes. Now, what do you feel about dating in the 21st? Do you think it's easier?
I think it's hard.
You think it's hard?
A lot harder.
Do you think that the internet has made it difficult, or do you think they've made it easier to date?
I think the internet has made it easier with regards to being detective, because you know me, I'm little Miss Marples in it. So just give me a number, give me an email, and I'm dab on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm scrolling in it. So with regards to knowing who people really are, I think it's made it easier to find out who Joe Bloggs is. But I think it's made it harder with regards to maybe even communicating. I feel like a lot of people most probably depend on apps to find out what people are like, if that makes sense. I feel like people will judge someone based on the Instagram pictures that they post.
Exactly.
When really,
and that's not
Instagram
real life.
Instagram is not life. Do you get it? Instagram is just...
I could post that I've been to here, there and everywhere in 1 week and I ain't been nowhere. And
That's
people
true.
do that.
And people succumb to it and like, oh my God, how do they afford to go on all these holidays? Or she looks good, or why does she look like that? So for me, I feel like, I would say 50-50. I feel like the internet has made it easier with regards to knowing people, finding out who they are. But then
finding
I feel
the
like,
skeletons.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of taken away the effort that we used to make in dating back in the day.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. Long phone calls and so forth, trying to get to know someone.
You know, them silly ones where you're up till 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning talking, getting to know the person. Now it's like, so where you from? What you doing? Do you want to go out? And then that turns into a week and 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and you know, but I think it's a lot harder. I'm not even gonna lie.
What are you about dating apps? I already know what this girl is like about dating apps, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway.
So for me, yeah, I've been on dating apps since I was like 16.
Backchat.
Yeah, from Backchat days. I've been on Backchat. I've been on Tagged. I've been on MSN Messenger, Yahoo Messenger. I think I've been on every messenger possible. I've been on Tango. I've been on... God.
You name enough.
Listen, I can't even remember all of them, but I've been on them. So, yeah, for me, I don't have a problem being on a dating app.
Do you think that people on there are actually looking for a companion, or are they looking for sex?
To be honest, yeah, I feel like everybody's needs and wants are different. But I would say 80% of people on a dating app are looking for pom-pom.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Because you're not even asking me about me. The first question you're asking is, can I see a pussy pic? My pussy don't tell you who I am, you know. Nor does the picture tell... Do you understand? So for me, it's like, why are you here? If you're here for sex, you need to be on a sex app. Do you understand? And I'm sure there's more than
plenty.
a
I'm
lot
sure
of them.
there's plenty.
Do you understand? So you being on Plenty of Fish or Tango or Tinder or wherever you are, and your main aim is sex, it's bewildering to me, especially if that's not in my profile.
Do you think that confidence comes into it on those kind of apps though?
Hell yeah. I feel like confidence plays a big part for some people when it comes to using apps. I feel like some people are keyboard warriors and some people think they're Beyonce behind their phone. Do you understand? So I feel like being on a dating app maybe does allow people to have that confidence to correspond better maybe than face to face. So I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird one.
It is. I think a lot of people will have the confidence behind the screen, and then when you get to see them or whatever, it's
shy.
It's shy.
You're sitting there in silence and you're like, well, this ain't the person who I was speaking to via Insta or WhatsApp.
And aren't people worried about being catfished? Like that program is still very current now. People are still getting catfished to this day.
You know what? All my life, meeting people off the internet, I've never actually been catfished. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't sit here and say that I've been speaking to someone on the internet and their display picture looks like this, but when I go and meet them, they look like someone else. Never. Maybe I've just been lucky.
Yeah.
Not
maybe.
even gonna lie.
Because if you contact Neve,
bare issues, bare people with their stories.
Do you think that you can meet the one via the internet? Do you think that's possible?
I do, because for me, I feel like, what's the difference in meeting someone in a club or meeting someone on the internet? Do you get it? Because for me, if I met someone in the club, my aim would still be to get to know them. So my aim of meeting someone on the internet is getting to know them. Do you understand? If I swap numbers with someone at a party or at Saturday bar or wherever we go, I'm still going to take time to get to know them. How are you? You got kids? Where do you live? What's your family support like? What's your morals like? Do you understand?
I don't think a lot of people ask questions how they used to, because I think a lot of people now are a bit more superficial. Depending on the age. Because some people know exactly what.
Motherfucker, you're lying. They could be 50 and still. Sorry. Sorry, guys. We promised that we weren't going to swear, you know. And girl.
I've been trying.
Girl.
She ain't trying right now.
That's one for me.
One thing
Nil
is.
for her.
What are your requirements? Like when you not physically, like when you see a man, like what entices you? What are your requirements in terms of you've already seen him and you think he's attractive? What else needs to tick off?
Oh my God. So for me, it needs to be how he treats me. That's gonna be one of my major things. How he treats me and how he speaks about his mother or his sister. Like a man that's willing to defend his sister or his mother, to me, has morals and brought up see. Because the fact that you're making an effort to defend your mum and your sister or your sister goes to show that you respect women, you respect where you've come from. It might be, you could say I'm silly to think that, because it could be, oh, well, it's his sister, it's his blood, he's going to defend it. But there are some guys out there that actually won't, you know? So for me, I feel like from your showing me what your brought up is like and your morals, that means a lot to me. And I like someone that's honest. Your looks don't even, it's irrelevant how you look. You see, as long as you're honest, I'm cool.
What do you mean it's irrelevant?
Well, it's not irrelevant. God, if you look like Bucky Joe, then, you know. But you need to be honest. I think honesty is a big part for me.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think when dating, you know, like men have this notion in their mind that I meet you tomorrow, I've never met you from nowhere. And I just ask you a simple question. Who else are you talking to or you dating or whatever? Yeah. And you feel you've got to like nobody.
For me, I don't.
Everybody's
get the
out in the
point.
world dating, innit? So you can just be honest. I'm trying.
You met me and you want to take me on a date, so this must be something you're doing, you know. So why are we lying about it? That's another thing I don't like. I remember I used to talk to some guy, and we were talking. I asked him all the time, like, have you got a girlfriend? Have you got a fiance? Have you got a wife? I went up the list, you know, fiance, girlfriend, fiance, wife. Every time I asked, the answer was no. So I've gone out with this guy, gone to cinema. Who turns up?
Oh, I remember this date.
Oh, who turns up? His fiance turns up, talking to me about, who are you? I'm like, what do you mean? Who am I? Who are you? She's like, I'm his fiance. I said, oh, okay, nice to meet you. Bye. Because I never knew he had a fiance. I've been speaking to you for how many weeks? I've known you for years. You've never told me you had a fiance, because I've been asking you, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a fiance? Do you have a wife? Your answer has always been no. Had the WhatsApp evidence as receipts.
So what happened to your detective skills?
They clearly didn't work.
They failed.
They clearly did not work. The thing is, to be honest, he weren't really an internet person. No matter
you know why, right? You know why, right?
I learned that lesson quick. Yeah? Because clearly he had something to hide, but that's what it is sometimes. Sometimes we fail.
Yeah, no, I get that. But that's why I say honest, like, I agree with you when you say honesty, because if you just say, I'm speaking to X, Y, and Z, did blah, 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 because everyone has to filter out who they think is going to be the one.
Is the one. Yeah, I agree to that.
What, kiss a lot of frogs to get your prince,
yeah.
You know?
I hear that. What I disagree with, though, is men and women. I feel women, both sexes do it. Like, they're in a relationship with someone and they're dating, But at the same time, you're not making it clear that you're in a relationship. And then your phone rings and it's their spouse. And you're like, well, who are you? Because, you know, you never told me about you. For me, I feel like sometimes as humans, we don't allow people to make their own decisions.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's another thing.
100%.
That's one of my pet hates.
Because you don't know, that girl could be down for being the side chick.
Exactly.
And I'm not condoning it, guys. I'm not condoning it.
No, but let me have a choice. Let me decide if I want to be a homewrecker. The moment you make me a homewrecker and I don't know about it, it's unfair to me, you 100%. Know? Like, I've fallen in love with you, I've grown to like you, and then I find out that you've got a wife. Like, why is that fair on me? That's so unfair. So I feel like that's another one of my pet hates. People, again, it falls under the bracket of honesty. That's all it does. Let me decide. You can't decide my future for me. No one decides my future for me but me and God. Do you understand? So if you have a woman and you say to me, boom, it's not working, you know, I'm looking for fun, let me decide if I want to be in that boat sailing my ship. Don't decide for me. It's so wrong. Guys, if you're listening, don't do that. It's not cool.
Does it matter if they don't have a job?
For me, I don't mind a man that doesn't have a job, but he has to have ambition.
Yes.
You see, once there's ambition behind that and he has goals and he's saying, do you know what, even though I'm not working now, it's my intention to build my own building or to buy a house and to do this and to be self-employed.
I just want to know what you're doing
I want to know what your plan is to get to where you're going.
Are you going to college? Are you going to uni? Are you doing an apprenticeship or whatever?
As long as there is ambition, I'm cool.
I don't want you just to be sitting on your ass being a bum. Nothing. Like, no.
I hear that.
But it doesn't matter that you don't have a job.
I'm not going to mind you for 2-3 years. 6 months maybe, cool. But do you know what? After that, you need to be doing something constructive.
No 6 months. I'm not minding no man.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I would. You see, if it's a thing where I met him and he had a job and we were in a relationship.
No, that's different. That's different. I'm talking about when you just meet someone.
All right. No, I'm not minding you and I just meet you.
No.
Sorry.
No.
That's your own path right there. No. Yeah? Because the fact that you're even looking for date, you must have paid your internet bill. So, you know, you're filing away. So, no, sorry.
What about if they've got kids? Is kids a no-a or how do you feel about kids?
I don't mind men with kids. Let's get this out there. I've been raised by my granny. So my granny always said to me, like, if you pick up a cow, you have to pick up their calf. Meaning if you pick up a man, you have to pick up the kids too. You understand? 100%. For me,
package. If
I met a man and he had 10 kids, it would bother me because I'm like, right, that's my Christmas budget done. You know, like...
The 10 kids is a lot of kids.
But if he had 10 kids, but he had 2 baby mothers, I can respect that. Because what you're showing me is that you deal with stability. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But if I meet a man and he's got 10 kids and you got 8 different baby mothers, you're a no-no for me. You're actually getting dashed off a London Bridge because for me it's not going to work. Why do you have 10 kids by 8 different women?
There's either something about him or there's something about what he's previously chosen.
Listen, all I know...
Which is still about him.
8 kids... or 10 kids with 8 women is a lot.
You need some contraception in your life.
A lot. You need to be sterilised because that's a lot.
Oh my God.
That's a lot. That is a lot. So for me, I don't mind a man with kids as long as I know that there's a reasonable number of baby mothers behind it.
See, you're good because you don't have any kids.
Yeah.
See, before I had my children, I was pretty much like, no, I don't want to date anybody that has children because we're not
kind of biased, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but that was before I had kids. But as far as I was concerned, I meet you, I date you, whatever, and we are now a unit and whatever. I haven't got any kids. So
that's true.
I want someone to not have kids as well. So then if we decide to take that step, then that's ours together. That's our first.
And the joy you'd share with someone that don't have it. Fair enough.
Exactly.
But now you have kids.
But now I have kids. I would date a guy that has kids. Yes, okay. I would.
What's the maximum number of kids?
2. Preferably with 1 baby mother.
So what if you had 2 kids with 2 baby mothers at the same age?
Oh,
you said 2. You said I'm trying to.
Do you know what?
Do
you know what? That's funny because his 2 kids were very close in age.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But he wasn't cheating on anybody or whatnot. Oh. It just so happened that he'd been dating one and their relationship ended and he ended up getting back with his previous partner and they
That's a different situation,
Yeah,
though. It's not as if he was dating someone, then went back to or out with someone else. No. He went back to where he started.
Yeah, and
it's kind of contradicting, isn't it? But it's
but
not
do you know
so
what?
bad.
He was an amazing dad to both of those kids. So, and they had the two little girls had an amazing relationship. So
That's cool.
It's kind of, I think it depends on the scenario. If you're just out there being a dog, then no, I'm not down for that. I'm really not down for that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I've had to change my view on that because I have 2 children. I wouldn't want, basically everyone's going to leave me high and dry.
Be like, nope, you got too much kids. Next.
Now, do you think this goes in terms of as well, you know, you just said 8 baby mothers, 10 kids. Does body count matter? Does that matter? And when do you ask? When is it acceptable to ask, how many people have you slept with? And if they decline to answer, what is your next step? Or if they get defensive, what is your next step?
Okay, so for me, body count does matter. But then to some people it doesn't. Like Dav has said to me, like if I was a stripper or a go-go dancer, he would still there with me. And I'm like, you're good.
No, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a high body count because you ain't got to have sex with your clientele.
True,
you don't have to. I mean, that's a choice that you want if you want to get your extras.
Extra.
But
yeah, that's true.
It's a job at the end of the day. That's your job. And then when you leave,
I'm not that person.
You're not that person.
I understand that. Okay, so does body count matter? The answer is yes.
Hell yeah.
What is an acceptable body count? I think once you've passed 30, maybe 40 for me, it's a turn off. Because I think men get pum easy, you know. Like, think about how many times you go to a club and a girl's drunk and she might have drunken sex. So that's one. If they're raving every week, that's four weekends worth of pum. Do you get it?
It's so gross.
The thing is, I think
and then it's like, how do you feel? Like you're just having just random sex that you don't even care about. Maybe I'm just like old school innit? And you're meant to like the person that you have sex with. Like you're just meant to like the person. For me, like you're meant to know their name at least and their age and maybe where they live.
I feel like for me, I try to think like a man innit? I try to think like a man.
That's why mine is closed.
I try to be understanding. So for me, I'm like, okay, 40. God, like we had this discussion. I had this discussion with my work colleague, Sherrod. He's actually a twin. And do you know how many times he said to me, like, Raj, you know how many times I've used my twin technique to get pom that? I'm like, what? I'm like, Sherrod!
What's twin technique?
Obviously, when girls see 2 of them, they get gassed in it. Oh, there's 2 of you. Oh my God, you're a twin. Some people get turned on by that. Some girls think, oh my God, he's a twin. I'm going to have twin babies. Boom. 2 babies one time. Don't need to go back. Yay. Listen, do you know how many times...
If you see how I'm just holding my drink, like, what?
Listen, the amount of times Sherrod has said to me, like, yeah, I've been able to get pom just from being a twin. I'm like, turn up.
These girls is
Listen,
what?
That's why I say, for men, and it's so crazy because I've always grown up being taught that a lady cannot do what a man does and still be classified as a lady.
100%. And I think it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's
it
wrong.
Is wrong.
It's really,
but
really
I
sexist.
feel like as times have changed, the 21st century, women ain't having that anymore. Women ain't having it.
No, they're not
having it.
But I also do think it's how you hold yourself.
Because
you can be a little hoe, but you can hold yourself with a little bit of dignity. And some people are just that.
The thing is, my thing is this though, regardless of how well you hold yourself and carry yourself, it's still a hoe. Do you get it? So for me, your point is your point is still like, it's still, do you get it? It's still
a hoe's a hoe, basically.
A hoe. I could wear Christian about in Gucci all day, every day, have my hair slick, decent weave, good frontal, but the fact that I'm going through men constantly does not change what I'm doing or what I'm classified as.
I agree.
Do you understand?
I do agree. I do agree.
Yeah. For me, I find any man that gets defensive at anything you ask them has something to hide. Same with women. The moment you ask me a question and I become iggy or I become arrogant or I become like, whoa, why are you asking me that? For me, I have something to hide. Yeah. Because if I'm dating you and
you're embarrassed, you're ashamed of something.
My plan is to get to know you. I should be able to ask you anything and not feel no way about it. You know, I should be able to say, oh, so where are you from? Oh, you're Jamaican, you're African, cool, no problem. Oh, so how many people you slept with? And then you flare up. I'm gonna kick my foot down your throat.
I asked someone one time and he was like, I'm a big man, how you asking me them questions?
So either he didn't get enough or he's had too many.
I'm like, well, what's you being a big man got to do with anything? See if you want to answer or you don't.
He clearly weren't getting none, mate. Or he just had too much and he didn't want to admit to it.
I couldn't believe it.
Listen.
It's just a question.
Was you out?
Yeah.
I would have picked up, listen, I would have drank my last drink. I'd picked up my keys, picked up my phone, I'm gone. Because if that's how you're behaving...
I'll just put it this way.
You never spoke
He didn't
to
get
him
another
again.
date.
There you go. There you go.
What are you, what's your thing? You know, when you actually see a man, what do you like?
Okay, so growing up...
She's a weirdo. I know what she likes, but I had to ask the question. She a weirdo.
Growing up for a very long time, I loved men with bandy legs and arched teeth.
Like they sucked their thumb. Like they had a dummy.
It doesn't matter if they had a
She got lots of issues.
It's like they had a dummy. I don't know. I just really like that. And then as I got older, I think just straight teeth was it for me. But to be honest, I have a preference in men. But sometimes the reality is you may not always get your preference. The people that are your preference.
She's trying to hint to me because I have a preference and I ain't really budging.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If they got rid of beards and tattoos,
I'd be
should
lost.
be a lesbian. No, I don't even think she'd
I'd
be
be
a
a
lesbian.
nun.
Should be a nun.
I'd be so lost. And I mean,
It's deep.
I don't care in terms of your job, your skill, whatnot. I don't want a road man or whatever.
But you just want attraction. That's your
I
biggest
want to be
thing,
attracted to you.
Okay.
So I want you to have a beard. I'm sorry. But I like a good old beard. I like something to pull. I like the tats. Physically, I don't want someone skinny because I am not a skinny girl. So I want someone...
See, I used to like...
Yeah, you like a skinny guy. Yeah, you used to, but...
I used to like a skinny guy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm willing to adapt. But I'm not adapting to the beard. I could even deal with you not having any tats. But you've got to have a beard or else you just go away. Just go away.
I don't get the fuss, but hey, everybody has their preference, guys.
Manly.
It's true, because when you have a beard and then you shave it off, you look like 15 again, innit? It is a turn off, innit? Oh, for flip's sake.
You know, that reminds me of when Dad. You were so upset. Oh my God.
I was pissed. Oh God, let's not talk about it. I was like, what the frig did you do? What did you do? You look like you're 10.
Consult me first.
Like I'm dating a 10-year-old. Like, Makai most probably had more hair under his armpits than his face.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gives you that little manly... Dunno. But beards. I'm here for the beards. Do you think that women expect too much from men?
To be honest...
Whether it be dating or in a actual full-blown relationship. Do you think that...
Yes. I think in the century that we're living in, I feel like a lot of women expect a lot of things from men that they as women cannot offer themselves.
I agree.
And I disagree with it. And try know any girl
out there... Oh, the man needs to do my hair.
Yeah. Any girl out there dating my brother and expects my brother to do all that for them and they can't do that for themselves. I'm telling them straight, you need to lock her off, you know. I don't care how good it is. I don't care what the love level is. She needs to go. Because for me... If when I met you, I was not able to buy Gucci and I weren't able to buy Balenciagas or I weren't able to take myself to Hakkasan or the Shard or, you know, anywhere,
100%.
Sexy Fish or something, and I'm in KFC and McDonald's prior to meeting you.
Not even that.
Why should I expect you to do that for me? You understand? And I can't do it for myself. Go sit down and eat your Indomie.
Treat people how you want to be treated and it's vice versa, isn't it? And it's just the same in a relationship.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. For me... I will always do, like, if I buy a gift for someone or my partner, it's going to be something I know they like. Even if it's name brand, because I know they like it, I'm going to do it. But I would like to hope and know that that is reciprocated. Do you understand? I'm not going to be out here buying you a gift for £200, £300, £400, £500, £600 and you're buying me something for £25.
Matt used to buy me name brands, like... When we first got together.
You matched that all the time.
I just told her to stop buying it, not because I couldn't match it. I'm not interested in that stuff.
You're not like that.
You'd be coming home with Prada trainers and stuff. I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, I don't really like Prada trainers.
I'm just like a plain old Converse Vans kind of girl. Like, I'm plain Jane.
I hear that, and that's the thing. Like, if you're not into it, you're not into it. And the fact that you had someone doing it and you still weren't into it just goes to show where your mindset is. Do you understand? But a lot of girls, I find in this 21st century, a lot of girls aren't like that. And I've had the same conversation with quite a few men. They're like, this girl's talking about she wants to go to dinner at the Shard, but yet has she ever seen the Shard? Do you understand?
Well, that's why she wants to see the Shard now.
Yeah, but
with
not
your
at
money.
Someone else's expense.
But this is how people are.
But they shouldn't be. Not
no,
at someone else's expense.
Of course not.
If you can't take yourself, you shouldn't be expecting someone else to take you. What you need to be knowing is that you have been taking yourself, or you can take yourself, and know, say, whatever man comes next is doing above that, because you've already done that. Do you understand?
Do you know what? It doesn't even necessarily have to do above that, because we can work to do that together. As long as you can match me, I'm happy with you matching me, and we can grow together and do better.
Fair enough. Even that's cool. But don't be out here, ladies, expecting men to do for you when you're not doing for yourself. It's kind of shady, to be honest, but hey.
That goes on to my next question of, do you think that if a guy takes you out, is he just meant to pay for it every time? Is he meant, and I'm not just talking about the first date, I'm talking about all the dates. If a guy takes you out, you go out with your man, is he always meant to pay?
Okay, so my thing is this. If I've just started talking to someone and he initiates a date, I believe that it is your duty to pay for the date. That's how I look at it, because you suggested it.
Yeah, because if I said to you now, we're going out, I would pay for the date. We're going to cinema, blah, blah, blah. You know me already. I already buy the tickets and whatnot.
And I'm forced to go, guys, just so you know. I'm held hostage.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like if you've initiated a date, you should pay. Same if we're talking and I think, I really want to meet you in real life, you know. Like, what are you doing? You free tomorrow? And they say, yeah, all right, cool. Can you?
I've booked here. We're going here.
Yeah.
Meet me. Blah blah blah.
I'm not expecting that person to pay. I will pay.
Yeah.
But you see, if it's a thing where we go on a date and then we're sitting there and we've really come to realize that
we're not vibing. It's the vibe's not there.
The vibe's not right, or we're not. You know, that spark's not
there. I
am
fully prepared to do a half and half.
Yeah, I feel like that bill should be 50-50, because I don't feel like you should be going home with a loss, or I should be going home with a loss.
You both eaten. You both can pay.
We've both eaten. We both should pay. Do you understand? But sometimes it's mad, because you could be talking to someone on WhatsApp, and then when you see them and then you see how they carry themselves, or you see how they eat, sometimes them things throw you and you're like,
100%,
okay,
100%.
Maybe you're not for me, because how do I bring you in front?
And that's why I say internet dating makes things difficult, because
yeah,
you could talk to someone for so long. I was talking to a guy for long till you think, you're like, yeah, he's the one. Yeah. Like, yeah, we're gonna meet and it's gonna be like sparks. And I met and there was flat. It was flat.
Fireworks didn't even
there was no fireworks. There was no tingling. There was no nothing. There was nothing.
Wow.
There was just nothing. It felt like I went to dinner with my mate. And sometimes that's why I think dating apps are not the one, because I think you can get a bit comfortable talking to someone and
I agree to that.
Put them in the friend zone before you've even met them.
Before you've met them. Yeah, but that's why you should try and meet early. At least you know, if you meet and it don't work, you ain't wasted your time. Because there's nothing worse than talking to someone for a month, for 2 months, and you don't meet them. And then when you do, it's like, shit, I could have been talking to John or Peter.
Can you give me your dating disaster?
Girl, even with my 10 and my 10 finger, my 10 tours, I don't even think I could pick one out of the flipping 20. Okay, so one of my dating disasters, I went on a date with some guy, met him on the internet, which was my thing. Met him on the internet, we arranged to meet up. He was like, oh, where do you want to meet? I was like, I'm fine, wherever. So he was like, we were debating between the O2 and Stratford. So in the end, we decided that we was going to meet at the O2. So I got there.
That's a decent location because there's loads inside.
Yeah, there's lots to eat inside. So we've got there now and walking through, and I'm like, or he's like, what do you want to eat? I said, you know what, I'm not fussed, Car, I'm not fussy when it comes to food. You know me, I'm down to earth and whatever. I said I would have been happy, content. Yeah, I'm in a KFC in my car and I was chilling. It's not an issue. So we stood at the entrance of O2 and we're looking around. I'm like, Nando's is like, no. I'm like, Pizza Express is like, no. Okay, cool. Well, when you know, let me know. So he chose Gaucho's. Not a problem.
I like gauchos.
Yeah, me too. So we've gone to Gauchos and they've seated us, whatever. And he's looked at the menu, ordered a bottle of rosé wine, which I might add was £89, $84.95 or whatever it was. But he ordered the whole bottle, not even a glass, the whole bottle. So then after that, the lady comes back and she's like, do you want to place your orders? So we're like, yeah, please. So she's like, what do you want for starters? So she's like, starters. And I told her, I think I had calamari wings. Can't remember. And then he done his. So she was like, should I take your mains now or should I come back? So he jumped in and he was like, no. Can you take the whole menu now? So starters, main and dessert. So she's like, okay, no problem. So he's given his order now. He's ordered the rump steak, right? But he wants an extra 100 grams on his steak. So say it came at 4 and he wanted to buy 6.
I'm sure they add.
You add an extra, I can't remember what it was because it was so long ago. Like say it was an extra $19.95 or $9.95. They added to the extra 100 grams of steak, right? So he's got that now. I had steak, chips, béarnaise sauce because that's my signature meal. And he ordered the same and he ordered dessert. So starters came. He finished the starters. We both finished starters, and then we're talking while the meal, while obviously the main meal is coming. So he's like, when the main meal comes, I can't afford this, you know. So I'm like.
So when did you realise that you can't afford it? When you ordered the wine, or when you ordered
I don't know, because every restaurant that I've gone to has a menu, and beside your selection has a price. So either he couldn't read, which I presume he did because the menu was the right way around when he was picking his meal. So he's like, I can't afford this meal. So I'm looking at him like, okay. Like I'm sitting there like trying not to show my shockness, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So I'm like, well, I'm already here. I might as well eat my food, innit? Eat, and you know, whatever happens at the end happens at the end. So sitting there, and I'm telling you, I think after he said what he said to me, I was so not interested. It's like everything he was saying just went over my head.
Well, obviously, because you've come out, you've chosen the restaurant, you've ordered this big man bottle of wine.
Okay.
You've ordered all the food, you've ordered everything. And so
Okay.
what stage did you know that you couldn't afford this date?
So I sat there, finished eating my steak and my chips, and I finished. I think I finished before him, which is shocking because I normally eat slow, but I finished before him. So I'm sitting there and I don't know why I'm playing with my car key in my hand. I think I was vexed. You know, one of them ones where you're angry but you don't know how to show it, so you're just fidgeting. So I'm sitting there fidgeting with my car key. And then it's like, I'm holding the car key and the car key separates in my hand. So I'm feeling, and it's like my key ring's in one and the car key's in the other. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I put the key ring on the table and I put the napkin on top of the key ring. So I'm like,
You always got a plan, innit?
Listen, you need to. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I said to him, I'm coming back, I'm going to go toilet. So I've got up to go to the toilet and I've said to the waitress, like, this was kind of like a blind date, but I don't think I really like him. So I said, in about 5 minutes, can you tell him that I had to go? So she's standing there looking at me like, what? Sorry. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not into him. So
I would love to be her. I would have loved to be her.
Really?
Yeah.
Girl, I was just like, yeah, can you tell him in 5 minutes? Ash, I'm telling you, I ran from Gauchos. This time I got on one big old chunky hill. And anyone that knows me knows I can't walk in hills already, yeah? So I got on my big old chunky black boots and some black jeans and had on my waist trainer and a V-neck top.
So now you can't breathe.
Listen, my tits are in my chest and can't breathe. My waist trainer's tight, I'm running, and it was raining. And you know the O2, when you're out on the paved part, it's so slippery.
And it feels like such a long walk from there to the car park.
I felt like I was the Usain Bolt doing a 10,000 mile run, I swear down. Because no matter how fast I was running, I felt like I couldn't get to my car. Got to the ticket machine, trying to put my ticket in. My ticket dropped like 3 times. The people behind me must have thought, is she alright? Tried to put it in, it bent up and dropped. Tried to put it in again, it dropped.
So you rushing, panicking.
Listen, in the end, I managed to do it, and then I ended up putting my card in, putting the pin in. I got to my car. For me, I'm not safe yet in it. Until I drive out the barriers, I'm not safe. So in the end, I end up managing to drive out. I didn't even take off my shoes, and I can't drive in hills. Can't drive in hills, and I'm driving a manual car with at least a 3-4 inch chunky hill, and I'm just like, boy, I'm out. Then he texts me. So as I get to the roundabout of the O2, I text him in my car. I'm still in the toilet. I think the steak has hurt my belly, innit? So I'm on the toilet going number 2. So he's like, okay, no problem. Dessert is here. So I'm like, okay, cool. I soon come. Tutu's about 3-4 minutes later, he calls me and he's like, oh, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm on my way home, you know, like straight up. He's like, what do you mean you're on your way home? I said, well, the fact that you couldn't afford to pay for the meal, it kind of pissed me off, because for me, your actions came across as premeditated. Nobody leaves their yard knowing that they can't afford to pay for a meal and come
You
for a
wanted a
meal.
free
And
meal
then
out
you
of
ordered
me.
an £85 bottle of wine. Then you ordered the biggest piece of steak. Plus you had chips and veg or string beans or whatever it was with sauce. You're taking me for a dickhead. Seriously, jokes aside, you're taking me for an idiot. Ash, when I tell you, he's like, but I don't have money, I can't pay for it. I said, that's not my business.
See you in these yardies though.
You should have listened. And I still don't learn my lesson, because I'm still fine backyardy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well,
yeah, but you got a decent one.
that's not my problem. That's your problem. So Tutu's now, he's on the phone cussing about my blood clot. And I'm like, yeah, but I can afford to pay for my half of the meal, innit? So I hung up on him, and I think I reached halfway home, and then the manager, or he calls me again, and then I speak to the manager, and the manager's like, oh, you do know that obviously if he doesn't pay the bill, we're gonna have to call the police. I'm like, well, do whatever you want. I said, I'm more than willing to give you my card details and pay my half of the bill, but I'm not paying that whole bill. Do you understand? And I explained to the manager what he did, and he was like, oh, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? And I was like, yes, it was. That's why I'm not paying. So I said, I don't mind coming back tomorrow and paying my half, and we're cool. I don't even remember if I paid for my half or not, to be honest. So long ago.
That's crazy,
But yeah, moral of the story is, don't go nowhere that you can't afford to eat and expect someone else to pay.
No.
Car. That's not fair.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair at all.
If someone believes that you're worthy of that, and for me, I don't even think a first date is like gaucho worthy. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think expectations are a bit crazy.
I agree.
Because I'm not expecting anyone to take me to gaucho for the first date.
No, listen, I'll be happy.
You don't even know if you like me.
Or...
You don't even know if you like me. I'm not spending no money on no like.
The thing is, I get someone could be trying to be romantic and it being a romantic
yeah,
gesture.
but you don't know if you like me like that yet.
That's true too.
So why are you gonna spend £89 on a bottle of wine?
That's true.
And I mean, it's not about. I think a lot of people always think it's about the expense of something. I think it's about. Isn't. It's not. It's about the effort you put in.
The effort that you make. Even if you took me on a picnic, even if you said to me, "Do you know what?
A nice picnic.
I can't afford to take you out, you know, but I can cook. You know, I love my belly. If he said I can cook, I'm be like, all right, don't start without me. Yeah.
I've had a few dates in my house, you know, but men have come to cook for me. Yeah.
Really? Freaking lucky.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever happened to me. No man has ever cooked for me.
But
on a date.
The other end of the date was not good, so, so I didn't bother to tell you about it.
Dead. So I have a question. Do you think, or when do you think is the right time to have sex when you're dating someone?
Do you know what? I've known people to have sex on the first date and still be together 20 years down the line.
Do you think it makes you a slut or a hoe or a sketel if you sleep with somebody on the first date? Because a lot of people have different perceptions of this. So.
No, I think if you're doing it willy-nilly, then yeah, I do. I do think you're a hoe.
Fair enough.
But if you have been talking to someone for a little while and you've gone on this date and
the chemistry
is just there, and you just know that the person that you met is the same person you've been talking to for all that time, you've got those feelings and those emotions, and the spark is just there, then you do your thing, innit? I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah.
But if you're just willy-nilly freeing up the ting, I think it's wrong. So I can't say that there is a time. I think you just know how you feel in your gut.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say the same. I think it all depends on how you feel. Because you know you can fall in love with people over the phone. Like just talking.
Oh yeah, I have.
Having a full-blown conversation.
Head over heels for someone.
And then it's like you meet them and then that just completes you.
Yeah,
like,
you get the butterflies and all that. Yeah.
And when they touch you, it's like, oh God. Like, oh, shivering.
So yeah,
you know? So for me, I feel like if your body and your mind and the chemistry between you and that person says otherwise and you do sleep together on the first time, then fine. I hope and pray that it lasts. But if you're dating weekly, you're dating 3 men a week because that's what you're on.
No, but if you're dating 3 men a week and you're giving them all the pom-pom, then
we've got a problem. You've got
a problem.
I ain't my problem.
And you better take your ass to the clinic every now and again, because
you have a problem.
Do you think you could know that you found the one before you've actually met them in person? Like, you could be talking to them by the phone for months or whatever. I think that's normal. That shit scares me, to be honest.
It's mad you say that. So I met my husband on Instagram. He slipped in my DMs.
My DMs is dry. I had no one slip in my DMs at all.
He slid in my DMs, guys. He slid in my DMs, and we actually spoke for say I met in July, and we spoke from July until December, and then I met him in December when I went to Jamaica, and it was like, okay, cool. At first I was like, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Your type, what you would usually go for, isn't him.
Yes.
But I get why you're with him.
And I think it was also the fact of my past errors as well with Jamaican men. It was like,
maybe you don't. Maybe you need to veer from
maybe
that.
I need a change.
Yeah.
You know. So it was like, at first I was like, oh my God, he's telling me everything I want to hear. And then it was like, oh my God, I met you, but I'm not sure, I'm scared. But then it's like, the time I spent with him, it was like, you're the one. Like, I can feel you're the one, because the way you treat me and the way you've introduced me to your family and the way you've accepted me and make effort, like, no one would do that. Do you understand?
That's why I say I know. That's why I know.
And that's what made me obviously grow to love him and obviously marry him. And I wouldn't change it, to be honest. But it is what it is. Is it normal? For me, what is normal? I've reached a point now where it's like, everybody says this should be normal, or this should be this, or this should be that.
No, I think everybody's normal is different.
Yeah, but what is normal? So
and
for
I think
me,
it's a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that shit would scare the hell out of me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you fear a lot. I don't live in fear. I just do it. That's the difference between us. I just do it. And you think about it. I don't know why you think about it. Maybe because of the kids. I
think so.
I don't know. But
because I am very closed off when it comes to my kids and stuff like that, and people meeting them. I mean, I was speaking to a guy for 2 years. He never met my kids. Never came to my house. Like, not to say that he knew where I lived.
Yeah, but we believe our home is our temple, innit, and not everybody should be in and out of it, and that's the reality of it. I hear that too, but I do think that people can fall in love in a week, 2 weeks. That's me. If it works is a different thing, because for me there must have been something that attracted you to that person or made you fall in love with them in that short space of time. So whatever you fell in love with in a week or 2 weeks, I would like to hope that it continues to burn for you to have many years down the line, you know.
So if you're talking to a guy for like a month and he's to and from a different country, to and from, and then he says, I'm coming back, we're going to go on a date, and then next week I want you to come out to where he has a house in another country and go and meet his kids and his family and everything like that, and talking about the fact that he wants to have a child and blah blah blah. So doesn't that shit scare you?
No, because if
on a first date,
the thing is, all right, first date, yeah, that will scare me. But after a week or two, if my vibe feels that, then yeah. The thing is, what we talk about on the first date may not be something I'm going to do next week. He could say next week, but do you really mean next week? Do you get it? Did he really, really mean like next week?
That stuff scares me.
For me, I'm a strong believer in when people know, they know.
Yeah, but you can be too pushy. And I don't like that.
For me, men that are pushy, this is going to sound so rude. Men that are illegal immigrants and pushy scare me.
Oh my God. Well, I ain't never met one of them yet. This one was not a legal immigrant, by the way. Like, what I'm talking about is not a legal immigrant.
I can only be honest.
He can go to and from with ease into the country and out of the country.
Then, you see, if he wasn't and that was his mindset, I would be weary, but it wouldn't scare me. Because for me, I genuinely believe that what you need to understand is when a man or a woman sees a man or a woman and we project how we are or we speak, them things take account on how we view. Does that make sense? So if you come across as firm and strong-minded and this and that, and you show, I know you're all about your kids, you showing that to a man would make him think, do you know what? She'll be a great wife. She'll be a great mother to our child.
And I get that.
She'll be this.
But you can't be telling me on the first date that, yeah, blah, blah.
The thing is,
that is a bit overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, but I'm a strong believer
just slow
in
down,
when people know, they know. I do think it can be overwhelming, but I still go by and
this is why I don't really do dating, you know, because I think I'm just prang of everything. Let me just stay home with my kids.
If you continue being scared, who you gonna date?
My goddamn self. Let me just date myself. Let me get to know myself.
You gonna get cobwebs.
Let the cobwebs web.
Shit, I best buy you a Dyson.
Oh my god.
I best buy you a Dyson. Turn around here.
When do you think, when you are, right, I've gone on a couple of dates with a guy and I think he's, if you've got kids, when is it acceptable for them to meet your children? Or if you don't have kids, when is it acceptable to meet your family, your mum, siblings,
for me, I would
whatever?
like to be dating someone for at least a year before I introduce them to my family. And you know what? That's so frigged up because as you introduce them after your whole year relationship, 6 months later you break up. So it's like, oh, when is the right time? Me personally, I want to know that that person is for me. And it's crazy because sometimes, you know, it's your own family that could turn off a man or a woman and make them cut. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Like maybe the way your mum carries herself, and you might think, you know what, this is not what I want to get married into.
I didn't expect that.
I didn't, you know. So sometimes it's like that. I feel like that question is it's a no win either way, because you do it early and it's like, oh, she's got another one or he's got another one, and you best not bring her to my yard until you're sure, kind of thing.
See,
you know?
some people will say, oh, you should kind of get it, especially maybe if you've got kids, you should get it done quick, because if the kids don't like them, then you just know it's a no-go. But at the same time,
you need to protect yourself, you need to protect your image, you need to protect what you stand for. And
because I'm not about to let my kids see 10 different men within the year just because I want to make sure that they like the person. I want to make sure that he's right first before I even...
Listen, if I have to do 100-page questionnaire, how are you with kids? What do you do when she
questionnaire,
cries?
Natalie.
Listen, I'm China, I'll find any means possible, any means.
Do you think that you could meet someone and you're like me, for instance? I already say I don't want to have children anymore. 2 out of this body is more than enough. But do you think that it is possible for someone to come into your life and change your plan?
Wholeheartedly. Because if I was the type of person that thought, oh my god, I'd never want to have kids, and then I met someone and I thought, you know what, the way you treat me, I would love to give you a child, to know that you treat that child in the exact same way. Do you understand? I believe that if you meet someone, and I also believe strongly though, when you meet someone, you both need to somewhat be on the same page. Because you see, when you're both not on the same page, for me sometimes
it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's a as you said, it's a recipe for disaster. I've met someone, but he wants to have kids. I don't want to have kids because I feel like my body's torn up. Not that my body's torn up, but that could be an excuse.
But I'd like my body to be torn up in about a year, so I don't want to go back to being what I am now.
You know, innit? But it's mad. I would always say, try to date someone that has the same mindset or is on the same page as you. If I could meet, or if I did meet someone that could change my mindset, I would like to think yes, because that just goes to show that I have love for them and we're working together rather than against each other, to be honest. No,
that's fair. I do not want any more kids. Hence why when that guy was like, I had already said to him, I'm not interested in having any more kids. I've got one of each sex, so I don't really need to be doing that again. And he was okay, and then you can then start talking to you about, we're going to have kids next week kind of thing. Like,
okay, so say you met a guy that was everything, and the way he treated you and the kids, and he didn't have any kids, and in the beginning he accepted that, but when he saw how good you were with your kids and thought, you know what, I thought I could live with not having kids.
Then we better have a surrogate car. I don't want to.
Really?
I just don't want to put my body through that again.
But why?
Because it's a fucking lot. Sorry. Is that my first swear word?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think so.
But it's a lot. It's a lot, Nat. It's a lot.
You say that, but then the a lot and the person's love and the person's desire, do you not think that you could sacrifice something?
Well, I'm going to say no.
Oh, wow.
However, I'm
You're
not.
harsh.
However, I'm not in that predicament. So I can say no to the cows
You
come
say whatever
home
you want.
until I'm in that predicament, and
Fair
it could
enough.
it could sway me. But right about now, no. I do not want any more humans out my body. It takes a lot out of a woman, and it's not just the pregnancy, it's all the crap after. It's, am I going to have any complications? Is my child going to have any complications? Are the things I'm going to have to worry about? Am I going to have depression? And
I
all
hear
these
that
things.
too.
I'm
But
just-
my thing is, you see all of them things, maybe because I don't have a kid, everything you're saying to me just seems so trivial. Because having the kid in the end, and I've gone through all of that, it's like, yeah, that was a piece of piss, basically, because I've got my kid now, innit? You're looking at me like, I disagree. For me, I would enjoy all of that.
So you remember your goddaughter, right? Okay. Just leave it right there.
But the thing is, I wouldn't change her. Even though
No,
you had
I wouldn't.
what you had.
I wouldn't change her. But those are the things that scare you. Those are the things that make you not want to do that again, because you don't know.
Really?
You just don't know.
Do you know what scares me with having children is the back chat.
No, but that's
I
just.
don't even think the pain.
That's just a given.
You know,
yeah?
I don't like pain. I don't even think pain. But do you know what I can't take? You see, if my child is anything like a KCR, yo, myself, I'm going to end up in prison because I'm going to just sweep her foot from under her and be like, who you talking to? Who you talking to? Not me.
Leave my child alone.
I brought you here. I can take you right back
Leave
out.
my child alone.
So, yeah, I hear that too. But I think, and I would like to hope that you change your mind on that, to be honest. It's kind of unfair, but I get it. I do get it. I haven't endured the pain that you felt. So, I understand.
I think at this point in my life, I just want to be able to just enjoy someone and not worry about having to bring kids into the mixture. Obviously, I know that I have two of my own, but to then, kids put a major pressure on a relationship.
My thing is, though, you sound like 50 when you say that. We're not 50 yet. For me, I don't even think you should be thinking about not having more kids.
I can't even find a decent man.
Seriously.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm expecting to hear this shit when we're like, nah, I'm 55. No more kids for
Definitely
me.
not at 55. 55, having kids. No.
Do anything's possible. You
No.
don't know. God makes our
I
body, you
have
know.
no intentions of being in the paper for being one of the oldies that are having a baby with some young hot ting, because you know, like, I ain't gonna want no old scraggly looking man.
That's
He
true.
still needs to have a beard and tats. No,
Really?
I mean,
it's mad.
it's no. I'm
I hear
happy with
that.
my one boy, one girl. I'm happy.
I hear that. Fair enough. I won't knock you. I can't knock you. As I said, I don't know the pain, so we won't judge.
So, a year for meeting parents, siblings, kids, anybody. Yeah.
Same. Well, I lie. Maybe 6 months.
Well, you have to say 6 months, because, you know, that's when we all met your husband.
That's true too.
Oh, shoot.
That's true too. I just decided, yeah, I'm getting married. Well, I didn't decide.
Although I somewhat felt like I knew him, because obviously we did FaceTime
we
and all
always
that.
had,
Yeah.
WhatsApp video calls and conversations. So, yeah, well, 6 months for me. Won't be a hypocrite, guys.
Right. What's the dating advice that you've got for everybody?
My dating advice is try not to give too much details about yourself on a first date. I think when you kind of do all that, I'm from here, I'm from there, I do this, I do that. Oh, in my spare time, I do that, and then I do this. It's like when you do go on
You're
that
just giving them
date,
too much information.
yeah, it's like, what are we doing? Are we twiddling our thumbs? Because what do we now talk about when we've now gone on that date after I've told you my whole life story, you know? One of my next dating advices would be, do not talk about past relationships.
That shit's weird.
The thing is, you say that, but sometimes, you know, you get them fast extra people. So, why did you and your ex break up? And you feel like you have to answer.
Because we
And
did.
sometimes, but sometimes you get carried away in the answer. And you're like, oh, we broke up because you cheated on me and I'm still
and it's
hurt
rolling,
about it. And, 2 hours later on the date, you're eating and you're still talking about your ex. It kind of, to me, sometimes sends off weird signals. It makes people think, oh, maybe she's still or he's still.
I actually just think it's a weird question to ask on a first date.
Do you know what it is? I think sometimes people ask maybe to determine who was wrong. Even though you could be lying, some people may ask to determine, okay, so why did you guys break up? Did you break up because of you? Or did you break up because of him? Because if you broke up because of you, I now need to understand you.
I think I would have had that if it depends on the person in terms of how you guys rapport before that
Fair
date.
enough. Okay.
But I think I would have asked that already. I wouldn't
Really?
be sitting down there answering that on a date.
do,
Especially if
though.
someone's got a kid. I say, oh, so what happened?
Okay.
Because obviously there's got to be a reason why the relationship has dissolved.
Yeah.
So I don't think someone should be asking you that when you're face to face on a date. Like, it's just not.
Some people do though. Sometimes the thing is, you speak to someone. Say you start speaking to the person Thursday, and you go out on a date on Saturday. Really, in 2
and
days.
that's too quick for me.
Really?
So you're just fast. Everything about you is just fast. Fast.
Listen, I'll meet a guy on Wednesday and I'll be like, oh, what you doing Friday?
No, I've got to filter
cool.
out the thing for at least 2 weeks.
See, me, I want to see
so
if I
sad.
like you first. Because if I don't like you or I don't have no
I
form
think
of
2 weeks is
attraction-
reasonable.
Nah, B. Because then say you've wasted 2 weeks liking someone and then you go meeting after 2 weeks.
Which has happened. Which has happened.
I need to know from the get-go. Okay, you free on Friday? Yeah, I'm free on Friday, let's make it. All right, cool. Not a problem.
Boy.
So, yeah. My next dating advice would be don't go on dates if you're not interested.
What do you mean though? Because
like, you got people that might just talk to someone for comfort and they're genuinely not interested. Or you got the ones where you meet someone on the internet and their pictures like 10 years prior to what they are now, and then you add them on WhatsApp and you think, damn.
I just cut that thing off, innit? Just cut it off.
Exactly, but some people will feel bad to do so. Like, a lot of people have conscience in the world that we live. Well, I'd like to think some people have consciences in the world that we live. So for me, I would like to think like, your conscience is going to permit you to not waste my time, So if you're not interested, just don't turn up. Just say you're not interested. Be honest. Say I'm not interested.
But I think there are a lot of men out there that aren't actually interested, but will go on the date to see if they.
You think so?
100.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's deep.
Yep.
That's deep. My next one would be don't be late.
This girl's late for everything, so I don't even understand how that could be her advice.
Don't tell lies. I'm not late for flights. Whoop whoop.
Wait.
I've never been late for a flight. Never. Don't think about it. I've
sure?
never.
So what happened when we went to Dam? Because we was. Let me tell you something.
Were late. That's one time.
We
and
had to run.
That was traffic.
We had to run
through the airport.
And I had, like an idiot, I wore heels to the airport.
And it's like, God weren't on our side, because if you ever see where they put the gate for the EasyJet flight to Amsterdam, it coming like it was way at the back of the airport. But on a note, I'm never late for flights. That was traffic. I drove and the traffic was a bit much.
But she's late for everything else.
Everything. Apart from work, because it pays me. Well, yeah.
No, you're lying.
I'm not late for work.
You are. However,
I've gotten better.
You get there on time, but you're not on time.
Kind of. I get there before the shop's supposed to be open. That's good enough. Yeah. Don't be late. Always be early so you can see your prey. If you have to sit on the other side, sit outside in your car waiting, observing, then cool. And I think my last one would be to be honest. Just be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Be honest. I think if you're talking to about 6 guys, Just tell the guy you're talking to 6 guys. And if you feel like you're the one, then you need to do something to be able to make me lock them off, innit? I mean, I'm not making you try to compete.
It's not a competing team.
But
I want to keep my options open.
I want to keep my options open.
They say you should never lay all your eggs in one basket.
My closing, my thought of the day in terms of relationships or big time relationships, but dating is... Don't ignore the goddamn red flags. Women do it all the time.
Oh, God,
they ignore the red flags and be like,
I didn't see this happening. I didn't know it was like this.
You did.
But he gave you all the red flags.
You saw them and you just brushed them off. So just don't ignore the red flags.
You became an airhead. You became an airhead and accepted everything that they were saying. I actually don't have a thought for today. Because I feel like my thoughts, I don't want to be like, yeah, man, when you meet someone on the internet, just go on. And the next thing you know, one of you email me or call me and talk about, he beat me up, he kidnapped me. And then you're going to sue me coming out of money. So for me, I don't have one. I honestly don't. I'm just going to say if the vibe is right, you do it. If it's not, you don't do it. If the person makes you happy, you do it. If they don't, you don't do it.
Thank you for listening to Talk It How It Is with myself, Ashley.
And me, Natalie.
We look forward to having you on our next episode. If you've got any feedback from today's podcast, feel free to follow us on Twitter at Natalie and AshL1 and on Instagram on talkithowItis_UK, and you can email us on talkithowitis@gmail.com. As we said from last week, episodes will be uploaded every Monday, so please look out for us. Take care. Hope you enjoy. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.